next up is TinkerMania.
Good evening. My name is J.R. Van Linden, and I recently started this company so that I could manufacture a pedal electric light delivery vehicle. This two-person vehicle with that is capable of carrying 400 pounds of payload and has 64 cubic feet in the back and a lockable area with it with more roof on the roof for it. Currently, we have about 940 million people that are ordering online. This stuff has to get to us one way or another. The big guys are all playing with different ways of doing it, whether it's drones or whether it's different vehicles and different methods of putting together independent contractors to bring it to them. And we decided to say we had a vehicle that could fit certain markets and work for them, and a couple different ones. The post and parcel, they have abilities to hit certain markets to be able to get into residential areas and subdivisions and suburbia. In America, we have about 52% of our population thinks that they live in the suburbs. That's a lot of people. Suburbs, you go about 50 feet from mailbox to mailbox or house to house to it. So it's easy to get either the mail or it is to get packaging to go there. The logistics of what they've got going on nowadays, they can actually determine what the sizes are, what the weights, and what the capacities are for whatever vehicle they're going to be using. So with that, there's a lot of areas that a little vehicle, easy to care for, low cost, easy to get around in. A lot of places have problems with large vehicles and having parking problems, parking tickets, double parking, so like that. So this gives them a little easier to get around in. Also, you have businesses that are delivering pizzas, groceries, pharmacy, and more going more to the houses these days to it. This is short distances, usually just a couple miles. And these vehicles are capable of doing 25 miles an hour, whether it's full pedal or full electric or anything in between it, depending on what your mood is for the day. They're capable of driving on most roads that are 35 miles an hour or less. They're designed as as low speed vehicles. So with a license, with insurance to it, they can drive on the roads and be able to get around in many of the areas. And the speeds of them are fine because usually you're not going that fast in these neighborhoods and areas anyways. The manufacturing process, can you hit the next slide?
Click your thumbs up there. There you go. Forward and backward. There you go.
The little buffalo, as we call it, is just a simple vehicle. Costs $10,000, which in the marketplace is about average for where they are. There's a few different ones being played with the DHL, FedEx, and UPS across the world. Usually three-wheel vehicles with a power box in the back, big enough to have the payload going in there. They're finding that in many areas with it, they can actually double the amount of capacity to their customers with the smaller vehicles than the larger ones to it. You also have towns like Paris and many other ones that are trying to go to a more emissions-free area rather than having the diesel power and the vehicles going in there. So they're already working towards this area to it. The vehicles use a little bit of an older design to it. It's actually something that they used back when they first started delivering things. Both UPS and the post office had a very similar vehicle for where it goes on there. It does allow us to be able to do some things marketing-wise to it and make sure that it gets enough attention as well. Businesses, as they go to deliver things around to it, may want to be able to have their specials going on the side. Whether it's a TV or changeable signs or anything like that to it, it's easily to move these into different areas depending on what their needs are. It's a very modular system. Somebody wants to be able to use it for going into a farmer's market, to be able to deliver their goat milk soaps or their vegetables or flowers or something like that. They're easily adaptable for whatever their needs are to be able to go on there. The recumbent seating makes it comfortable and easy to be able to pedal so that you don't have to think, this is going to be something I'm going to be riding all day long to it, and less than what I call fun and name means to it. But it's quite comfortable with those kind of seatings to it, much more power on it. It makes it much easier with the assist, whether it's a high wind day to it, hills, or a heavy payload, to be able to handle all day with only $1 or $2 at night for charging for the battery for it to go on. They can be hot swappable in case they have a need for it to go throughout the day and change on it. The front wheel drive for the pedal side to it, the back has got the electric motor, and it'll be able to tell as you put into your smartphone with it how much assistance you want. So if you want to have all your own to it or the Superman power, you can be able to play there. Postal services, the stores going to the consumers, colleges and campuses, whether they're manufacturing campuses or colleges running around the IT department to bring computers to different people, the sports departments needing to have uniforms brought to them. They're all using golf carts or different types of those right now. They'd be able to use these instead to it and actually have the health benefits of the pedaling when they need there. Some of the colleges we've talked to with that have the possibility of actually having the alumni actually use some of their donations to pay for them with a small monogram on the front to it, so the colleges won't even have to pay for it. Independent couriers, right now we've got about 50,000 Uber Eats and DoorDash people that are running vehicles right now across this country alone. Their biggest complaint is the vehicle cost for both the maintenance and the fuel cost for it. They're losing their profits on it. Again, most of the distances that they're traveling is usually less than 5 miles to be able to get there. Easily capable in a vehicle that can do 25 miles an hour, and most of them are doing that or less as it is right now. So now for $10,000 to it, they can lease it, they can have it their own, get started with it, and be an independent gig contractor to be able to have it playing. They're cost effective, it's simple to maintain it, they can have it done, whether it's a bicycle shop, whether it's their own, it's easy to go, no chains, nowadays we're using belts, nice and clean, nice and quiet. It's efficient because again, the size of it doesn't have any trouble getting around different areas. Some towns in some areas to it, they don't actually allow the trucks to come in there because of the size of them. So the UPS trucks are a little harder, and it does get attention, whether it's for branding or whether it's for advertising for the company to be able to use. Simple designs with a manufacturing process utilizing extruded aluminum. We're able to actually manufacture these things quite easily and even do pre-fabrication for them for shipping them out in large quantities to an area so that they can be assembled on the site or near the site so they can save on the shipping as it goes. This is what we're playing with.
All right. 5 minutes for questions.
So how big is the potential market here for these things?
Right now to it, delivery vehicles by at least the 10 major delivery companies around the world to it is 500,000 vehicles. The US market right now is doing a contract right now for 5 different manufacturers to choose the next vehicle for the post office. They're going to get 160,000 vehicles, a little over $3 or $4 billion just for that one. New Zealand last year bought 500 electric vehicles to be able to deliver the mail, and then this year bought another 300 of them because they worked so effectively for where they were at. There's still many countries that are using bicycles, they're still walking, there are different things for the postal delivery to it. And then package delivery is, again, we're just keep growing and growing. 940 million people are buying online to it. In the US, they figure that within the next year or so, we're gonna have 20% of them buying groceries. We were just in Walmart this last weekend to watching them pick for the ordering for the people. I asked the girl how many people are actually, how many orders they fill. She said, we have 100 orders per person that is pulling the orders throughout the day to over 5,000 items to it. Right now, that's for the people to be coming in to pick them up to it, but I know too many people that say, I want to have it delivered, whether it's I've got kids and I don't want to have to take them there too, I have health issues and I can't get there, or I don't have the time to go shop and deal with that, I'd just rather have it delivered. They typically end up picking up better food anyways for them because they're not worried about it, they're getting paid by the hour to give the people the best one there.
What other competitors are out there?
There's a couple things. Right now in Sweden, there's a vehicle that is a recumbent powered one to it. They probably only sold about 180. They're doing some work with DHL and some small distributors for it. They're again about $10,000 to it. They've got a box on the back of it that can come off and go on. So when they're working with DHL, they can drop and go, put a new one on there to it. It's still a lot of it in the test marketing for these areas to it, but a lot more places are dealing with the emissions free and they getting around in the smaller areas. Now these are a little bit narrower that fit in the bike lanes where we don't fit within that area too, but we also have a much larger capacity. We could actually put a trailer on the back of it as well because most of the packages are fairly light that people ship anyways to it and they can get more in them. This last year from November through January, UPS from Kentucky down to Florida with that we're using golf carts with little lawn tractors or trailers on the back of them to be able to deliver. They would drop pods in the neighborhoods to be able to have them pick up from them as they ran out of space where they were going on because they weren't designed for that.
Have you already built the prototype?
I have not. We're just in the beginning stages to it, so that'll be happening in the next 60 days. We'll be able to get the first one built with it. New company.
planning on doing the majority of the manufacturing, or I heard you mention you can ship it to them in a day?
It isn't so that they will do it, but we'd actually be able to partially, put them together with that and then do assembly and country to it. So that instead of shipping something that is as bulky as it is at 9 feet and about 6 feet wide to it, we can end up dropping the space down considerably with that, so that when we're having to ship bulk shipments to somebody that wants to use it for postal or parcel in another country with that, and then it's fairly easy with the extruded aluminum, and it's almost like putting together IKEA furniture with it. So we can have a group that's putting it together there fast in a close vicinity to it and save a bunch of having there for them.
But you would flat pack and ship that, but you would send someone out there to.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and typically that would be on bulk orders that are gonna be above 20 or so like that going out to it, because otherwise we can end up putting them on a trailer and just shipping out 20 at a time on it.
From a marketing perspective, kind of talked about the health benefits of
Mhm.
this. Are there competitors that are also touting health benefits, or is that unique to the product?
There is, I mean, there's a couple of the bike, ones that are being built for it. It's probably more the size of the vehicle and being able to maneuver in the urban cities that they're working on than anything else to it, because again, the double parking charges that the UPS and FedEx and these companies are paying in the US, it's like over $2 billion that they have just for the double parking, and they're still happy to pay in a sense because they're making plenty of money going out. But being able to save it with smaller vehicles, with that gives them a big savings to where they're going.
So what would your single differentiator be then?
We've got a bit more size for where it's going into, and as we get into a market that has more and more areas of micro hubs for delivery that the companies are setting down to then go onto it, it becomes a less expensive vehicle to be able to go out, deliver easily, to maintain. The cost of fuel, the cost of maintaining vehicles is quite high, both for the post office and many of the other delivery companies. So we save them a bunch on that, and they're still able to do in usually more time or get more things done in the same amount of time as what their diesel and gas ones are being done right now. All right,
Any more
thank you much.
questions?